You ready to rock?
Ready to rock?
Let's rock. Welcome to the OutRun Us podcast. I am your host, Taylor Rockwell. With me, I have my lovely, beautiful, amazing 10 out of 10, fantastic, you'll never meet another woman like her.
Hello. My name is Katia, and you can call me Strawberries.
We have so much to talk about because, dun da da da, I officially have joined the 2,000 mile crew and the 200 day crew. Let's break it down. Katia is a daily runner. Tayrok is a daily runner. Katia is on what day of your streak?
Like 200. I think, well, you started counting from the 1st of January. I started counting from the 29th of December because it was just like the...
I think if like my actual streak is probably somewhere in there because I was running already every day in December, but I don't really count that because I just wanted to run every day in 2026. So right now I'm at day 202, but I think you're 3 or 4 days ahead of me. So I think you're at 205 maybe.
Yeah, probably. Because it's like I started counting from like the actual day that I started running every day, which was the 29th of December. Yeah, it's if you're on 202, then I'm on 205.
But you ran 2,000 miles at the beginning of May, I think, right?
No, you're crazy. I think mine was like beginning of this month.
No, because we talked about you hitting 2,000 miles in the same episode. We talked about me getting into Moab.
Well, I'm on 2,200 now. And I have run like 140 or 150 this month.
Okay. Either way, we're officially 200 days into our streak, 2,000 miles. How do you feel?
I feel like this is crazy. This is actually crazy because last year in the whole of 2025, I ran 1,500 miles. And now we are in July and I have already run more than that, which is insane. I don't know, like I just shows how much I was limiting myself before. And I think I was just like putting myself into these boxes or whatever, like what seems to be normal. And now I'm out of the box and I just run whatever I want to run kind of thing. So yeah, but other than that, body feels good. I'm happy. And yeah, another 2,000, 3,000 maybe this year. I don't know. We will see. What about you?
Yeah, that's interesting because I ran 2,000 miles in 2025. It took me the year to run that. I am like on track to almost double that. I don't feel like I put myself in a box last year though. At all. I feel like that was like me exceeding my potential, and I feel like perhaps it was just the natural growth and the natural evolution to get me to where I am today. I don't think that if I was running this volume last year that I would be having the same experience. I think I almost needed to have last year to be able to run this year. So it's kind of interesting to say that you felt potentially that you were putting yourself in a box because I don't, and I feel like it was like a natural build, like almost necessary to have this type of year. What do you think about that?
I do agree with you in a way that like it's different because I have been running for 3 years. You have been running for a year and a half now.
Yeah, I'm
So
coming
it's
up on
kind
2
of,
years.
yeah. So I think like you having that first year and then going to the second year with the higher mileage, I get it. But like I was already on my second year, if that makes sense. And what I mean by I was in a box, it was because I always kind of had this thought that I would want to run more, but I had people around me saying things like, oh, you shouldn't run every day. That's too much and this and that. But in myself, I always thought that I can. And I think I could have because I was just like, yes, like I can train like twice a day. I know my body, like I can train. And I feel like at the time last year, well, there was a period of time where I literally could not run at all. Like I could not train. I couldn't even walk. So I think like those 2 months just took quite a lot of time off like the mileage. But in general, I always felt like I could do more. But because I had these people around me and I kind of like cared of their opinion, I guess, I was holding back, which is what I mean when I say like I was kind of in a box. Yeah, I think obviously like building up to it, it's like it's important. Like you can't just start running and then run like, I don't know, 6,000 miles a year. That's crazy. Like you do need to build up. But like I just feel like in myself that I could have done more, but it's fine. I'm doing it now.
That makes sense because I guess for me, I started of like, oh, let me run my first half marathon. And then I was around people training for half marathons. And then I was like, oh, I want to train for my first marathon. And then I was training for my first marathon. And there's kind of like, not a cap, but like, yeah, like a cap of how many miles you almost need to run to be able to run a marathon, which is usually like not the same as a half marathon. Then I met C and one of my other friends, Ellie, and they were ultra runners and they were getting into these ultra distances. And I feel like two things happen when someone finishes a marathon. They say, I'm never doing that ever again, and that's the end. Or they say, what's next? And it's either an Ironman or an ultra marathon. And I feel like that's like the evolution. So then, yeah, I went into the ultra marathon path. I understand what you're saying because I guess I didn't spend too much time in the like, I'm training for a half for too long or a marathon for too long, and maybe it took you a second to find out like, okay, what am I doing after this, because you were like on the Ironman path and then I think you swapped over a little bit to the ultra side.
Yeah, I did. But also, like, for me at the time, before I met you, I don't even think I even considered myself as somebody that would run ultra marathons. I wasn't even, not that I wasn't interested, but like I was doing something else. Like I was training for Ironman 70.3. So it wasn't even like kind of, yeah, maybe one day, but it wasn't a radar kind of thing. And then we met, and then like you were running the ultras and stuff. And I'm like, that is an option too. And that is like when my eyes kind of opened to it. Because like if now I would watch things like, mob documentaries and things like that, that before I was watching Ironman documentaries, it wasn't even in a radar. And I think like you meeting C and Ali, like they were ultra runners. So you naturally would go into that, right? But also, I just wanted to add to like the marathon thing. Like, either you say you're never going to do it again, or like you proceed in something else. I think there's also the third option where when you finish, you say you're never going to do it again. And then one day pass and you're like, okay, which one I'm doing next? Because that was me. When I ran my first marathon, I was like, I'm never doing ever like this ever again. And then literally, I flew back home and I was looking for a new marathon that I could do because it was like, this is not it. I need to do another one.
Well, that's like someone staying like in the marathon phase. Like that is like natural progression. Like, oh, I'm never doing that again, but they continue to run marathons. But I mean, like, once someone's like, what prevents somebody from actually stop running a marathon? Like right now, I'm not training for marathons. Like I feel like I'm not in marathon phase. And then other people who are not in marathon phases are like I've talked to so many people and they're like, yeah, I ran a marathon once in 1969, never again. Like they're not
Oh,
into
yeah.
it at all. I feel like what I mean is like when you graduate from the marathon stage, you go one of two ways.
Mm.
But those are people who are still in marathon stage. Like that's just how it is. They're like, I'm never doing that again every time. And then yeah, it's like a quick slippery slope. I agree. But what's kind of interesting is you asked me a question earlier this morning and I want to talk to you about it. You said, what makes someone an ultra marathon runner? And I was like, let's
Mm.
save it for the podcast. I want to hear what you think and we can go into it, because how it even came up is I was like, oh, what are we going to talk about this week? Neither one of us have ran an ultra marathon. I was like, oh wait, just kidding. I ran one on Sunday, but it doesn't count. And then you were like, well, what makes someone an ultra runner? So let's talk about it. Let's break it down.
Yeah, because you said it doesn't count because you ran like, what, 49 kilometers, right? 30 miles.
Well, traditionally, the smallest ultra marathon starts at 50K, and I ran 49.7K, so I didn't actually get the 50K badge. So I was like, ah, just kidding, it doesn't count.
And that is something that came out in our conversations before, because when we were talking, I think it was like me changing my bio on Instagram or something like that. And I was like, do I pull ultra runner? And you were like, yeah, of course. I was like, yeah, but I haven't actually done like a proper like ultra race. And you said, but you have run the distance. So, two questions. First one, from what miles or kilometers does it count that you're an ultra runner? Because for me personally, I think anything about a marathon is an ultra marathon. And then the second, do you have to do an official ultra race or event to count as an ultra runner? Or can you just like one day I'm going to go out and do 50K and now I'm an ultra runner? Like, what do you think? Because it's an interesting conversation because somebody would come to me and say like, oh, you're not even a like ultra runner because you haven't done like now I have, but like, do you have to do an event to count as an ultra runner? Or
My very first ultra was down Cardiff by the sea on my own. And it was just one day I was like, I want to run an ultra marathon. And an ultra marathon 50K is roughly 31 miles. And I just finished the marathon maybe like 3 weeks prior. So I knew that I have done all this training for a marathon. In my head, I was like, what's 5 more miles? I can do it. So I just went out and I did it on my own. And once I completed it, I was like, cool, I just ran my first ultra marathon. At that point, I wasn't going around being like, oh, I'm an ultra marathon runner, because my intention was kind of just to cross it off my bucket list and like call it a day. Like, I wasn't actively trying to like grow from that scale. I just was in marathon training and thought, let's do it. Shortly after, maybe like 3 months later, I did my very first ultra, which was the Fiesta Night Run. And that one, you actually get a medal. So I completed the distance twice within a couple months. One, I got a medal, one, I did not. Does that take away from the distance at all? In my opinion, no, because the intention is the same. Now, the only reason I said like Sunday didn't count, because that was just a training block for me. And I was actually trying to run 34 or 36 in my training block, and around mile 30, it was 2 a.m. and my legs were starting to stiffen in the way that they stiff during races, events. And I was like, whoa, this is seeping into race territory, not training territory. And I'm not trying to break down like this on a Sunday. So that's ultimately why I called it at mile 30 for the training. But if anybody else were have to have run that, I would say like, yes, they ran an ultra distance. But for me, the reason I didn't call it an ultra is just simply because it was just a training block and my intention wasn't to try to hit a distance. Like, if my intention was to hit 30 miles that day and I did it, then I'd be like, okay, I ran an ultra. But my intention was just a training block, and it was no different than me going out. It's the same way, like on Tuesdays, I run 14 miles and I don't call it a half marathon. I just call it 14 miles. Because I was in a training blog, it was just 30 miles. It wasn't an ultra. But if on Saturday I sign up for a half marathon and I run 13 miles, I'm going to say I ran a half marathon, not I ran 13 miles. So it's just the intention, I think, is what classifies someone as an ultra runner.
interesting, because I get what you mean, but also it's like so crazy that like I feel like there's this, oh my God, I'm gonna run a half marathon, I'm training for a half marathon, and everything's about the half marathon. Yet you can just go out and just run a half marathon and nobody's gonna like even bat an eye on it because it's not like almost like a build up to it. There's no, celebration. Because I remember now why I started kind of like questioning that if I'm ultra runner or not, because it was almost somebody asked me like, oh, so how many ultra marathons like you have done, like almost like medals for doing an ultra marathon. I'm like, does that make me any less of an ultra runner? Just because at the time, like now I have two medals, but like at the time, I think I only had one, but I've done the distance multiple times. So it's kind of like almost
Well, this kind of
we.
reminds me of something similar, but I'm looking at all my medals and I have a couple of them that say first place women's division, third place women division. And sometimes I don't really look at them and think like, oh, I took first place or I took third, because the one that's like third is I was the last woman. I was the last woman to complete the ultra. I just happened to be, there was only 3 of us. Like,
Mm,
so to me, I'm like, when you say, "Oh, I took third," I don't really feel pride and glory. If anything, I was like, it just was
that
like an
was
auto. Like, there was
yeah,
no
that
one
was
else
the
to give it
only.
to. And then same thing with the Fiesta run. I think I took first in that one too, and I was like, uh, like one of the only girls. to do it. So, I feel similar too, but I think this kind of goes back to our original conversation where we're saying like, oh, but you can't run for medals and we can't run for like the titles. It's like you either run the distance or you don't. And I think it's ultimately up to the person to decide and declare how much value that distance is. Like perhaps we don't put enough value on the half marathon as like we once did, but just because we're focused on much different distances doesn't mean that the same person to the left or the right would value a half marathon distance. And that's why I think it's just kind of like per person to declare if they consider themselves an ultra or not. I don't think it's like you either meet the criteria or you don't.
It's the same when we did the 100. Like, it's any less that we did the 100 by ourselves, we are still 100-mile runners. Like, we still completed 100 miles, no matter if we had the medals or we didn't. And it's a very, very weird place for me to be, because a lot of times I don't consider myself as a runner because I don't have the backup to show, oh, I have a medal for this and I have a medal for this and I have a medal for this.
Hmm.
So
I think I
I
don't think of it with medals. I don't feel that way with medals. However, where I can relate to you is I kind of have been feeling like, have I done enough to train for Moab 240? Like, am I there yet? Like, am I in a position to do it? And then I think, like, similar to you, I'm like, "Oh, I hurt my back and I had 2 really low weeks. I ran very low volume. Like, what if that messes it up?" And that's just my insecurity head talking. But then you think you're like, "Oh, I ran 2,000 miles. Like, if I needed to start my watch right now and start running, I could. Like, don't be silly." And I think that's, like, we were on FaceTime yesterday and you're like, "What if you did a 200-mile week? What if you did this?" And told you, I was like, "I think I just need to get back to the basics as to why I run." Like, I think I've done not enough, but I think I've have a strong enough foundation that now I just need to go back to the basics and just remember why we run and enjoy it and not put all this pressure that like you have to hit these certain milestones to be worthy or something. And I think that's kind of what you're describing is like maybe a buckle or whatever, like a ultra marathon buckle might create this like worthy status to show somebody so they can see it, but in reality it's like the reasons why we run lives within us.
Hmm. Yeah, I do, but like me saying the 100, because I just, when we did the 100-mile, it was just like us stacking the evidence that we can do that. Like, it was kind of like a training run to give the confidence to you and to me or whatever, like that we can do it. And I think like me saying, would you feel any better like if you did 100 200-mile week? Would it make you feel any more accomplished? Like, have you tried, like, would that help you feel like you have done more? Because it's true, like at the end of the day, like you have run so many miles in the last few months. Just because 2 weeks you couldn't run as much doesn't mean that like the fitness is going to go away, right? It's just like, yeah, you had a downtime, but you still got time to like prepare for yourself. And I just
Um,
feel like,
yeah, I guess I would just argue that I don't think the 100 miler gave me that type of confidence. Like, if anything, we've talked about it, it made me feel worse. Like we talked about it and I was like, I felt worse about the 100 mile going into the 240 because I felt so bad. And I was like, geez, oh, if I feel this bad at 100, how am I supposed to do 140 more? And that's kind of why I feel like I need to get back to like the core reasons why I run, because I think those reasons, when I feel overwhelmed, like I'm not doing enough, I'm not running for the right reasons, or like I need to perform a certain way, I feel like that's where I'm getting into danger territory of like this expectation of performance rather than just enjoying the journey. And that's why I kind of have been getting away from like, I need to stop running for numbers, I need to stop running for this and whatever. It's like, yeah, there's a smart way to go about it and make sure you're prepared and know what to do, whatever. But if I spend too much time in that headspace, I feel like I'm in a danger zone to ruining my relationship with running. And I don't want to
mm,
be there because like I have felt I did 30 on Sunday and then I felt so like lethargic right now. My body's hurting. I only did 2 on Monday, and I've ran a million marathons and still have been able to perform the very next day just fine. Why can't I perform today? And like I feel it's like an energy shift of feeling burnt out, of feeling like I have to run these miles. I have to hit these volumes instead of just like enjoying why you run. And I feel like we say it all the time, it's so much better to just run with a smile on your face and enjoy the journey. You'll
Mhm.
perform better. And like I feel like I'm losing my smile trying to feel prepared for this race when like all I need to do is just know I can do it and like trust it, and then like the miles will follow. And forcing myself into these like expectations is a slippery slope. Yeah, I feel like everybody does it in some regard, you know. Even we talked to Bryson, which we're having Bryson on next week, but he did a backyard and he was sharing with us. He's like, I literally was preaching no expectations going into the thing. And he's like, and somehow I still had expectations on myself. It's a lot easier said than done to like beat it out of you. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about the 100, because I think if I hadn't got into Moab 240, just days leading up to our 100, and we just ran the 100 for fun, I don't know if I would have cracked down as much or if I would have been so in as much pain, because it's like we kind of talk about like when you're pacing for somebody else, you don't feel the pain, but when it's your event, you feel the pain. And like why, you know? And it's just food for thought.
Because this is another thing I wanted to talk to you about, the
Mhm.
like the reasons that why we run. Because I feel like everyone is so focused on times and distance and all those things, which is fair. Like obviously we just spoke about us reaching 2,000 miles in like this year, so obviously we do check our mileage and everything. But do you think we are just so, not just us too, I think people in general, do
Mhm.
you think we are just so far away from running just to run? Like going out, for example, yesterday I had like a really bad day. I was like complaining to Tay, like literally 5 minutes before my run. And then I went out and I had the best time. I probably had the best run I have had in a very long time. And I don't know what happened. What was it? But it just reminded me that I need to get out of my head and back into my body, to connect with my body and just go out and be silly. And just like, I also wore the worst, like, I was dressed like a, you did not want to see what I was dressed like. It did not matter. I was just having so much time, so much fun. And it was like, I did not care about the pace. I don't even know what pace I did. I actually don't even know how many miles I ran. And I feel like sometimes, I don't know, maybe you need to do that, not to leave like maybe your watch at home just to have it for the Strava or whatever. And, but like maybe turn it off so it doesn't beep, or like cover it and just go somewhere where you don't know the distance, because running around lake, you pretty much know like one loop is 10 miles. So it doesn't, it would still kind of like in your head, you automatically know what the distance is. But just to go out and just run for the running, not having the watch beep 1 mile, 2 miles, or like not having any idea how far you have gone, how long you've been gone, like nothing, and just run. Do you
Mhm.
think you need more of those days instead of like, because I think not every run needs to be a training run. And I feel like maybe that's what you are losing right now, because all you think, which is fair because you have a big event coming up, but all of your runs are for Moab. They're not for just the simple thing of going outside and running.
I can do
Yes.
that whether I have a watch on me or not. Like, and quite frankly, I've ran so many miles. I know what a mile feels like, whether whether I want to be like, oh, I don't know what mile I'm on. I know what mile I'm on, regardless. But the other thing I want to say is I have felt this way training for a half marathon and marathon. And I feel like it's almost this evolution that you have to experience, because there was once a version of me that lived wondering how the heck am I going to run 26 miles, because I just ran 18 miles and that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. How am I supposed to run 26? And I feel like I'm just kind of having a similar experience. What I'm trying to get at is like I genuinely think these are one of the things that like somebody can't tell you the stove is hot, you just have to touch it. And I feel like
Mm.
that's what I'm doing right now is like I have to touch the stove and I have to go through the emotions of how I just said, like, I feel like I'm scared of ruining my relationship with running. I have to go through that emotion to appreciate and love and value the relationship I have with running. And I feel like that's simply just lessons that you can't teach. And even though I've learned that lesson in different scales, half marathon, marathon, now, certain distances, I feel like this is just what I have to do. And that is kind of what I mean when I say, like, I'm leaning back into why do we run? And it's like, I feel like if I were to go out and do what you just said, like take my watch off and just have fun, there's now this expectation that I need to let go and have fun. Like you went out yesterday and
Mm.
had that experience because you didn't have that expectation. You went out there and it was there for you to experience and for you to have that moment. If I took my watch out and went out there, I would have this expectation that like I need to let go. And if I'm not letting go, then I'm upset that I'm not letting go. And like I'm not having enough fun. And so like for me, I hear what you're saying, except I just think it's like the inevitable that everybody has to have their own relationship with running and it has to be like everything is meant for them. And like there will be, I'm sure, a time on that Moab course where I'm like pulling from these words right here, being like, oh, I'm glad that I had that week in my training block where I felt like I'm ruining my relationship with running because this is it. Like, and I feel alive. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Like, I just feel like you're on to it, but you found it and I need to find it again and again and again because I found it once and you move on. And for anybody who's listening, it's like I'm sure they either have experienced or it's coming to their experience. But either way, it's like I don't think it's something that you can give somebody and be like, taste it. It tastes so good. Like I think they have to, they have to go get the fruit themselves to really appreciate the flavor.
Yeah, because I think it's the part of like the process, anyways. Like you can't always be high, 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 right? Like in the process of like preparing yourself for something, like there's gonna be down days or down weeks or something, and it's just literally part of the process. The same like you're gonna be tired or you're gonna be hungry or it's part of the whole thing.
I think like if I'm just being honest with myself is I feel like at this point I'm operating from a state out of like scarcity rather than a state of abundance. And like right now I feel like scarcity in the sense of like I don't have enough energy to train. I don't have enough time to train. My job is crazy. My run club is crazy. Like I'm crowdfunding for this, we're managing this, like I'm making content around this. Like I just feel like I don't have the time rather than just being like appreciative and having abundance. Like no matter what the day will go, I'll have enough time to go to run club and to make content and to crowdfund and to manage and to train and to make sure everybody in my life feels seen, heard, and loved at the same time. I think I'm just at a place where I know what's wrong. I need to find the solution to get back to a place of like abundance because like what I'm saying is that at one point getting to training for a marathon felt this way. Like how am I going to train for a marathon and do this? And now it's like I don't even give any thought about what training for a marathon would look like because to me I'm like, "Oh, I have so much time for that. That would be the easiest thing I could do right now is train for a marathon." So I just think it's kind of like the evolution of growth and like you need the downs to appreciate the highs kind of thing. And there will be a version of me that I'm sure I'm like, "I'm training to run across America and I wish I was training for 240. That would be the easiest thing I could do right now." You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I think it's just like it's also, how we used to think running half marathon was insane. Well, I used to think that it was like half marathon, never. And then you run half marathon, and then it's like, maybe I should try a marathon. Then you run a marathon, and now like we both can just go out and run a marathon. Like
Mhm.
we wouldn't even blink an eye, right? And like a few years ago, if you said that to me, I would be like, no, thank you.
Mhm.
Like I'm actually gonna die. Not really, but like, yeah, and I think it's just like you will find time and sometimes I just feel like maybe you're being a bit too hard on yourself with like, let's say you say like I want everyone in my life to be feel seen and valued and all that, but sometimes it's just like yes, but also obviously because work is work, like you're gonna have to do work anyways, and like you just sometimes, as sad as it sounds, like you're gonna have to sacrifice something for a little bit of time, like let's say not seeing your friends as often, and like not maybe going out for food as often, and like just trying to make sure that you sleep enough and things like that, because it's not like it's going to be like this for the rest of your life. It's just like a
Mm,
period in your life where you just need to be like, okay, I don't have time for this, I need to do focus on this, and you know, and
yeah.
just kind of like be, this is the part of my life that I need to prioritize something else. And I feel like when it comes to people in your life, they just like I will love you and support you either way. If you call, well, I will probably moan if you don't call me, but like at the end of the day, because I always like, you don't call me. We literally spoke like yesterday, and I'm like,
I
you
call
never
her every
call
day, and she's
me.
like, "Why don't you call me?"
I feel like you're just really hard on yourself when it comes to all these things, and I get you have like so much going on, but it's just like giving yourself grace. Like you're just one person, like doing it all, working content, like all those things. Like it's very important for you to also understand that it won't all be with flying colors. I always keep saying to you, you can do anything in your life, but you can't do everything in your life. So just focusing on the things that matter the most right now.
Because I think for me, like, I know everyone's like, why is Taylor running till 2 in the morning? Like, what is going on? But to me, it's like, I think I enjoy running at night because everybody stops calling me at night. Everyone goes to sleep. My job doesn't need me. Who cares if content doesn't need me? Like, to me, I feel like at night is truly the only time that I have, like, where people just like don't need me or really are asking where I'm at kind of thing. And like everything's done, so to me, I'm like, that's the only time I feel like relaxed to just be like, oh, all that's left is just to run. So I do know that there is like this level of like fatigue that I'm experiencing. I think I need to, talking to myself out loud, I need to know that I can do Moab 240 right now if I needed to, and everything else moving forward is just maintenance at that point. And whether now 14 miles a day is the new maintenance, that's fine, but not feeling like I need to have a certain expectation on how I need to feel because I never knew that announcing that I was gonna do Moab 240 was gonna come with so many opinions. And I think it's been weighing heavy on me with how many people talk about Moab with me, and I feel like I need to do a better job of like nobody talked to me about if I said I was doing Austin Marathon in February, not one person would be like, "Oh, are you doing enough?" They would be like, "Oh,
Mm.
cool." And I need to, like, probably protect that space a little bit better. I don't think I've been doing a good job at that.
We were talking about it the other day, how like one of your friends is trying to get more time on feet, and one of your friends is trying to get faster. Like I'm a pacer, but like I'm working more on elevation. Like everyone's training just looks different, and everyone's capacity is different, and everyone's like everything is different. So having like so many people around you like throwing things at you is like, I'm okay, I know what I'm doing, like kind of it gets too much, and I feel like when it gets too much you almost freeze, and you're like you don't know which direction you need to go, and like which one should you do it. But like when you switch everything off, like you know what's best for you, like you know what you need to do with when it comes to content, when it comes to work, when it comes to recovery, when it comes like all those things, like you know what you need to do. So I think, yeah, just switching it all off and being with yourself and be like, okay, this is what I need and this is what I'm gonna do, and it doesn't matter what everyone else does. This is my journey.
I got myself this far just running with a smile on my face and a camera in my hand, like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it's like I got to a certain degree, but at the same time, I just need to. I think what I need to decipher is whose opinions are worth listening to and whose aren't. Because like yesterday, I called my friend Ellie Gibbons, and she is an ultramarathon runner, and she's an elite one at that. Like she is, for example, she took first place in Atacama. It was like 300 miles through the Atacama Desert, and she did it 22 weeks pregnant and still took first. And out did all the men and everything. Like she's a star in herself. So I kind of was telling her some of my fears that I'm experiencing. And like the way she just like listened to me and then was just like, "What are you talking about? You're literally fine." Just having somebody with that like let's say, like, the amount of respect I have for her, it just made me feel like 10 pounds lighter. I'm like, "Oh, she's right." But then, like, I've been listening to all these other people tell me I'm not ready, I need to be doing more, I need to be doing this, and it's like, oh, like, that's what I mean, I haven't been protecting the space where I'm just like, "Oh, like, I need to be doing more, I need to be doing more," and then I just hear Ellie go, "Oh, you're literally fine, you ran more." She goes, "If it makes you feel any better, I ran a quarter of the miles that you're running, for these race just because I broke my ankle 2 weeks before, and she had a broken ankle, and she's like, "I wasn't even running because I had a broken ankle, a sprained ankle, da 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 da," and she's like, "And you'll be fine, you'll get out there and you'll be fine," and then it's just like, "Oh," and it's like, why have I been listening to Jane Blaine and whoever insane who haven't even ran that distance before, and
Mhm.
then here's Ellie, and she's like, "Oh, you're fine," and it's just like this level of like, "Oh." Like, yeah, I had this moment where I was just like, "What am I doing?" And, like, how have I allowed so many opinions? You had a good question that you wanted to hit on. It's like running content, is it important? And I think this kinda ties into, like,
Mm,
where I was going with that is, like, I feel like perhaps I need to be more cautious of the space because I share so much of the journey, and it allows eyes to come on to me that almost like I have invited so many opinions into this space. So it'd be interesting to kind of talk about, is running content important? What do you think about it? And yeah, because you also make running content as well, so you have good insight on this
mm.
conversation.
When you was talking, I was like, this next question is perfect. Do you think running content is important? And I think running content is important, but I think we all need to be sensible about how much running content we consume, because I feel like when I did that, we both did the 100 miles, and then I did the 100 miles again, and then I posted that on TikTok. And there were people in comments saying things like, I never thought that was possible. I feel like running content is good when you see people achieve things that, like, you never thought was possible. Like, let's say, Rachel running the Coca Donut and winning it. It was like, almost like, why not you? It just opens your eyes of things that are possible out there. And it doesn't have to be Coca Donut 250 or more 240 or whatever. Like, somebody can look at somebody else and like be, oh, they completed a half marathon, like I never thought it was possible, or the girl is the same as me, like she just like in her 20s, like whatever. I feel like there's a lot of like things that you can look at and think like, oh, she did it, I can do it too, or he did it, I can do it too. Like, why can't I do it if that person did it, right? I feel like running content is good in that way. Like, for example, us doing the San Diego, like we were just having fun, and I had like one of my friends, she was like, you were just having so much fun. I was like, yeah, because you can have fun on a marathon. Like, you don't have to suffer running in a marathon, right? Because I feel like there is this perception that like marathons, well, they are hard, but also like you can have fun. But then it comes to the point where you start comparing yourself to other people. Like, oh, Taylor did half marathon in hour, what is your PB? I don't know, hour 2:28, let's say. And then I would put myself down because my PB is like hour and 39 or 38. And I'm like beating myself up for it because you're faster than me. I think it's up to the person how you consume the running content. But I know that that could kind of like, okay, I don't know how to.
May I?
Yes.
I think what you're trying to say is that running content can be negative because it just like creates like a highlight reel that people are
Hmm.
comparing to themselves to. But I feel like I agree with you and will argue that like that doesn't, who cares? Everyone, like, it's up to everybody's due diligence to find their reasons why they run, and like if somebody else's highlight reel makes you feel insecure, you should ask yourself why rather than not feeling excited for them.
Yes, I
Um
agree. That was like what I was trying to say, that like it's up to you to kind of like, if you feel a certain way, like for example, me looking at your half marathon PB or whatever, and if it makes me feel a certain way, it's my responsibility to fix that. It's nothing to do with you. Like, if you share that and you're happy and like I should be happy for you, right? Like, if I see somebody on the internet, like there's some things like I don't know, the people that run marathon in 2 hours, I'm like, that is insane. But I would never put myself down for not being able to do that, right?
I'm trying to do some self-reflection, what makes me feel a certain way, and I think of Ellie, what I just told you, like, I look at her account and, like, I feel no type of, like, jealousy, infatuation, or anything like that. If anything, I look at her and I'm just like, "Okay, living proof." Like, sometimes just having, like, proof that it can be done is rewarding. So, like, I look at her and I'm just like, so much admiration, so much happiness for her. I look at my best friend and I'm like, "Thank God my circle is killing it." Like, thank God. Like, but where do I feel insecurity? Training alongside my friends that are training for Moab. And that's where I'm being honest, where I think I'm training for Moab. I'm having this steep, slippery slope that I need to be mindful of. Last Sunday morning, I went with two guys and we're going up and down the hill of life, which is just like this steep, rocky hill, and the guys can just run down it so much faster than me. And I'm just like, "Ugh, like, you guys drop me." And they're like, "No, it's fine." I'm like, "No, literally just drop me, because like, I don't even wanna try to keep up kind of thing." And then they're walking up the hill, and I'm running up the hill just to keep their pace. Like, they're walking and I'm running, and then that's where I get, like, jealous, envious. I'm like, "How can this person be walking up a hill right now at the same speed that I'm running up a hill?" And that's when I start to get, like, insecure. I start to think, but this isn't, like, necessarily running content, but that's where I find myself comparing. But also, I don't really consume that much Instagram. I know it's probably, like, you probably think I'm lying considering I'm online 24/7, but, like, I'm posting 24/7, but, like, the time Katia is top of my algorithm, my best friend, the person I care to see, and I still miss her stories. She's like, "Did you see this?" I'm like, "I'm so sorry." Like, no, like, I have to go back to her page every once in a while when I'm sitting on the potty and, like, go like and comment on all the posts I miss. So, I can be bad at being online, but also I feel like there's just a small, small circle of ultra people, and, like, I guess, like, to me, like, I'm less concerned with, like, times on marathon and stuff because that's just not where my energy is. So when it comes to, like, ultra people, I mostly only consume, like, ultra content, which I feel like is almost a safer place to live because it's just like, all we really care about is distance, elevation, and then maybe time. And it's like the time is usually, like, just an added cherry on top. It's like, "And you did that in 48 hours? That's crazy." But, like, even if you did it in 84, people are still like, "Jesus," you know? Like,
Mm.
so I feel like ultra content can be a little bit more safer, but maybe where it can be a little bit more dangerous for me personally is, like, in real life when I'm training next to, like, and I hear what I'm saying. I'm next to grown ass men and I'm like, "Why are they faster than me?" But, like, at the same time, it's like that's where I find myself comparing, not necessarily online. And if you do find yourself comparing online, like, it's all fake. Like, literally, I make content with the intention of, like, I'm competing with Netflix, I'm competing with YouTube, and I'm doing my best to entertain these people who are either gonna be consuming my content or Netflix content. And you just have to think, like, when you're on these platforms, it's all people just trying to, like, entertain.
I agree. I think that's like, and that's another journey I think you need to go in running where you, because I used to compare my times all the time, like my heart rate, my
Oh,
times, like
really?
all the, oh, yes, of
I didn't
course. I
know
was
that.
like, yeah, I would always like, what do you mean that person ran this? But that was in the beginning, like the first year and like not a year, maybe year and a half when I started understanding those things. Cause I didn't like when I started running, like I had no idea about anything at all. And then when I started understanding like, oh, the paces and the heart rates and things like that, I'm like, hold on a minute. Why is this person running this pace and their heart rate is like this? And like I was so, it was so bad and I would beat myself up like for it, like why is my heart rate like this? And now honestly I don't even care. Like you would ask me what my heart rate was on my last run, I don't know. How many miles I run, I don't even know. I just know that I went out on a run. Like how long I ran, don't ask me the time. I literally don't even care. Or even like the marathon that we did, and like I don't know. Like unless I really really pay attention to it, and like this time, like the last ultra that I did, it was a bit different because it was like 6 hour cut-off time, so I kind of like paid attention to it. But also, if you ask me what my heart rate was, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I know I did 9 loops and I ran for like 5 something hours, and that's about it. If you asked me like 2 years ago, I would know everything.
I've never really been one to compare my times, so that's interesting. I don't really have much opinion on that, but I will say for me, like, I care about what my heart rate is when I'm training because, like, you obviously can, like, not every training needs to be for like a certain event, but like to me, I'm like, if I'm gonna be out here taking the time, I better be in zone 2. Or like I better be in zone 5. Like whatever my intention is, I better do it. But when it comes to race day, like I have different faces on my watch for training, and like the training has my heart rate really big, and on race day it's like I literally don't even care. I don't even have my heart rate on race day cuz it's like I don't care if it's high or low. I'm going to be doing what I want to do. So I think this all, like everything that you're saying now, everything we were saying at the beginning, everything we've been saying at the beginning, at the end, like what qualifies as an ultra runner? You know, like what is the distance? Do you consume? Like, do you care about time? Everything we're saying, I think, all comes down to like individual intent and like what is your
Mm,
intention with everything that we're doing? Because like I can look at the heart rate and like my intention is to be like, if I'm out here running, I need to be in zone 2 to make it worth my time. And but your intent, maybe like let's say 3 years ago, would have been like, I'm looking at my heart rate to make sure that I'm at a certain like scale. And it's like we're doing the exact same thing. We're both monitoring our heart rate, but the intent is different. So yeah, just kind of like anything that we're doing, whether it's digesting content, training for an event, training for a distance, being admirable, being jealous, whatever it is, what's the intent behind that? And just trying to us think about it personally, and then even the people listening to this, where have you been putting maybe things with the wrong intent and you didn't might not even have realized that's what you were doing.
yeah, because at the end of the day, it's just, I don't know, it goes back to like our previous episode where it's just like, at the end of the day, we are just out there on the trails or in the woods or whatever. We're just running and having fun and being kids, and that's it, you know?
Oh
And
yeah,
I,
after Moab, like once this is done and all I have to do is just run, like I'm gonna be such a like a kid who also like unlocked these superpowers. Like I'm in a whole new like Avenger body. Like it's gonna be fun, like way more fun. But then exactly, why am I not just having fun now?
I just feel like every single run is in for the mob is behind it, and like, just, I know you just need to come to it as you said earlier, but like just removing that, and it's like,
Honestly, like I'm saying this for myself, I need to just get into the woods, like into the actual trails. Because when I'm out there on Ladybird Lake, sometimes that's training. Like, you know, I'm just like, ooh, it's hot. It's 100 degrees. It's going to be 105 degrees on Wednesday. You know, and it's just like, oh, it's hot. And like in my head, I'm like, I tell myself, I'm like, good. Because it's going to be a desert when you're out there. Good thing it's
mm,
hot. You should be
mm,
happy it's hot. And then it's like almost like punishment. Like, you know,
mm,
like you deserve this hot. Like, you know, but then, like, when you go out onto the trails, it's like all you hear is the birds chirping, you hear water in the distance, and it's like this buzz and this hum that, like, you can't, you forget. And I think I just need to spend more time in the trails.
I agree, just like go out, have fun, enjoy it, be happy. Not that you're not happy, but like, just be a kid and play around,
I take
I
all my
guess.
work meetings from the trails today. I'm like, "Yeah, hi, yeah, I'm just out." My computer like
I
crashes from
mean,
being so hot.
yeah, I mean, do you want to
Okay,
do would you rather?
rapid fire. Would you rather?
Yes.
Okay. Oh God, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Let me look. Let me not make eye contact with you. Go
No,
ahead.
they're not like, I'm not gonna ask you if you would want toes for your hands or like fingers
Okay.
and fingers for your toes, like nothing like that.
Okay.
Actually, maybe would you want toes for your
Okay.
fingers?
Okay, go on.
Okay, would you rather run on a treadmill
Whatever the other thing
or
is.
hold on a minute, you don't. Oh, I actually it was different, but then I know that you don't like the other one either. So, would you rather only run on a treadmill or only run in a rain?
Oh, the rain. So easy. I'd rather have
Really?
soggy feet than fucking treadmill. Yeah.
What? I
Yeah.
remember the last time you we ran and it was like in the rain and you said how much you hated it.
I
And I
do
was
hate
like,
it. But I think about how much I hated that experience, and I'd rather do that than be on a treadmill.
okay, so you do hate treadmill. Okay. Would you rather
Wait,
no
what would you
watch?
rather do? Treadmill? Oh yeah, obviously. You're a treadmill queen, huh?
Oh, I actually don't mind either of them. I would probably, if it's like heavy rain, I would probably go on a treadmill actually.
Okay.
Then no watch or no music.
No music. I don't care about that. You?
Same. Summer running or winter running, and that's in Texas.
Summer
Before you
running.
s- before you say where, because in San Diego you get basically the same weather, right? But like summer running or winter running, Texas.
Summer, I'd rather be hot than cold. I'm like, what? Everyone's like, I love the cold. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I never warm up, ever. That never
But al
happens.
but also you was just complaining about 100 degrees on Wednesday.
Yeah, but I'd rather do that than be in the snow. Remember when we did January and it was like snowing and we were doing the
Mm.
competition? Everyone's like, it's fine because you just warm up and whatever, but like I don't, and it just hurts in addition to that. At least like if you're hot, you're just hot, and that's that.
I'm same. I'm summer running for sure. I hate the cold. I don't like the cold at
Also, I've
all.
been running in 100-degree weather in black shirts and long sleeves, so I feel like maybe if I made it a little bit better on myself, I wouldn't complain so much.
I mean, it is hard to run in the heat, and a lot of people always say that, like, at least in a cold, you can put more clothes on. But I just feel like I remember doing the same ultra in a winter, and now I did it in the summer. And like after the winter one, I actually thought I was gonna freeze like completely because I was so cold, and I was like, I never want to run ever again in that kind of weather.
May the
So yeah.
universe not make it snow in Moab 240. Please, please, please. May it not snow in Moab
Please, please.
240.
Okay, then I have never race again or never train again.
Oh, never race again.
Same. I don't even race that much anyway, so
Yeah,
okay,
the only
go
thing
on.
that's like beneficial about racing is just like the snacks that you would never buy. That's like it. You're
Yeah,
like,
like a banana.
whoa. No.
The free banana at the end.
I
Oh,
could buy a banana.
well, when was the
I
last
mean
time you
like
bought a banana?
I
No.
mean like in the ultras like a banana. I can buy a banana.
No, but you can buy a banana, but you said the snacks that you never buy. When
Yeah,
was the
but
last time you did buy a banana though?
yeah, but like in the ultras, they like make you little mini pancakes and they put chocolate chips on them and they like give you like the syrup that's like the nasty but the good syrup. Like, like you haven't had it since you were like a kid. Like I would never buy any of that stuff. So
Hmm.
that's why I like it because it's like, woo, pancakes. And you're like, I deserve a pancake. I don't know.
No, I would never race again, but I
Yeah.
could not go without training for
Or
sure.
like Pringles. I never buy Pringles, but if they're out there on the course, give me the
Yeah.
snipe.
Would you rather 100-mile road race or 50-mile mountain race?
50-mile mountain race. That's like a
Same.
win-win. That's a double win.
Yeah. And also road race, the 100 I did on the road, that was horrible.
Even when I'm on the trail, like here at Ladybird, it's like still like soft, soft, and then out of nowhere it'll be like cement for like the bridges, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is hot. This hurts.
This is what I actually didn't realize because I have been running on concrete all the time. I actually don't know how I did like the January challenge, like all those challenges that we have been doing until I went to Austin and we were just running there all the time around the lake. And then I came back and I was like, why are my legs hurting so much? And then I was like, oh, because I'm running on a concrete. And it was just, no, horrible. I need to find somewhere. I need to go somewhere where there's no concrete because that actually kills the legs. So my answer is also 50-mile mountain race.
I was just thinking, I'm so sorry. I heard everything you said simultaneously. I was having a thought about how my legs hurt and how I wish they made like bubble suits and how you could just like run in bubble suits so you absorb no impact. And then I was like, that'd even be so much better for all the times I fall. I would just fall on a bubble.
True. Maybe, yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, if you run on a treadmill, it absorbs. And then,
Not the same as a bubble.
no, probably not. You need those. Yeah, there's like those like balls that you go inside and then you
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah, you need one of
Hamster.
those. You
be
need one of
so
those.
funny. Oh
Okay,
my
this is
gosh.
not would you rather, but if you could have only one pair of shoes for the rest of your running journey,
Nike
what would
Vomero
it be?
18s. Nike Vomero 18s.
That's crazy because for me it's Nike Romero Plus.
Well, they're the
I
same. You
like,
just have the plus version. They're the exact same. You just have a different foam.
yeah, because it's like thicker, isn't it? The plus ones are thicker. Like
They
the
look
sole.
thicker on the outside, but they're actually the exact same.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just have a softer foam, and I have a more firm foam. But they're the same. It just the drop and everything's the same. They just look
Oh,
thicker, like on the outside of the design. Okay, when you get your shoe, go like this on the outside and like look how thick it is, and then stick your same fingers on the inside, and you realize it's not actually that thick.
oh, because I feel like I have both. I have the Nike Romero Plus and Nike Romero 18s, and I
Yeah.
feel like I can tell the difference.
I don't
And
know.
I like
Ever
the
since I got into trails and started wearing trail shoes, I feel like I have almost a preference for a more firm shoe. But I will say, like yesterday, how I told you my body was hurting after the 30, and I only ran two yesterday. I'm like, give me those Nike Vomero Plus. Like they're
mm,
plush, they're nice, and they do nurture the body in a way that's like comforting. So
yeah,
I do really like them. They're really good.
I think maybe that's what it is because I run on a concrete all the time. So I
Mm.
need that extra. Because, like, when I go to trails, I like the 18s better, much, much better. But, like, now if I go out and just run, I will wear the plus ones for sure.
Also, I've been running in the ACG trail shoes, and those are quickly becoming my favorite. Those are so good. I really like those.
I should try those.
Yeah, the only thing is like they're like trails. I feel like the Vomero 18s can almost be a hybrid. Like if the terrain isn't super harsh, you can run trails on them too, which is why I like them because they're just versatile. But if you're like running like actual like rocky terrain, I would recommend getting like an ACG, but then I don't think they would perform that well on like flat terrain. I think they need to be rocky to be like really well.
Mm. And also, I think like slippery and stuff, like if it's raining, it's probably the 18s wouldn't have so much grip because when I went to the trails, it was really good. Like the 18s were really, really good. I really like them because I also have Brooks ones, the like trail shoes, the first trail shoes I had. They have a good grip, but I feel like they're so flat.
Mm.
I didn't like, I feel like I need a little bit of something in there. I agree. Nike, Vomero, 18s and plus.
Yeah, those are like sisters. I feel like I have like four like regular 18s and I have like three plus and I rotate through them. They're really good. Okay, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for my best friend listening to me complaining all the time. No, I think what I'm grateful for this week is my willingness to accept this not all the time. I'm gonna be 100%. Like I have been feeling a little bit like I'm not 100% this week. I'm now really really not doing well with a lot of things. Everything on the surface, everything is fine, but it's just in my head. And yeah, I used to would like be very hard on myself for feeling these things. And like, for example, Saturday, I slept till 5 p.m. A few years ago, I would, well, not even a few years ago, a few months ago, I would be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Versus this week, I was just like, I think I just needed it because Sunday was a great day. So I'm just grateful for maybe accepting that I can't be 100% all the time and not being hard on myself for it. What are you grateful for?
That's a good one. I'm grateful for the ability to reflect on where I'm going wrong so that way I can pivot and move forward. Guys, I feel like everything I said sucks. I hate that I have to admit that I feel that way. Like, it doesn't feel like myself to be like, I care what people's opinions are. I'm scared that I'm not doing enough. I don't actually want to say those things out loud, you know, but at the same time, it's like, that's where I'm at. But it's better to not just be in the cycle and be like, I don't know why I feel this way, rather than to acknowledge it. Because now it's like, all right, well, what are we going to do about it? And actually learn and grow from it and use it as fuel to evolve and be better versions of ourselves. So at least I got the self recognition, self reflection, and self obedience to fix it. Thankful for
Yeah,
that.
I think that, sorry. Yeah, I think the first step is to acknowledge
You have a problem.
that you know. I mean, yes, no, is that a
Wait, do
wrong
you know where
thing?
that's from? Do you know where
No.
that's from? It's in AA meetings, like, when people are
Oh.
alcoholics. Like, the first step is acknowledging you have a problem.
No, because then, like, at least then you can work with it. Like, you, I have never been to AA meetings, so I don't know where this came from. But like, um, wait, hold on. How do you know?
I feel like it's just such, like, a, "Hi, I'm Taylor, and I'm an alcoholic." Like, everyone knows what it is. Like, you don't have to be there to know what it is.
Sometimes I feel like expressing these kind of feelings and like talking about them makes you almost, I don't know, not weak, but like, you know, it can make you feel like you're weak in a way. Or why am I feeling these things? But like the fact that you acknowledge and that you know where you like, that's the first step. And then you can move forward and like work on it.
Yeah,
So instead of
definitely.
just avoiding it and kind of be like, why am I feeling this way or whatever. So well done. I'm proud of you.
Proud of you. Good episode. Next week, we're gonna have Bryson on because he has so much to say about his backyard.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. Proud of everyone. Keep putting your best steps forward. Live in abundance, not scarcity. Run for the right reasons. Ground yourself. Live, laugh, love, run. Let's rock.
Bye.
Bye.